with It Works at age 24. So I was a baby and I had just gotten out of grad school and I had a panic attack when I saw my student loan statement with all the bills on one. So I'm like, oh no, 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 I'm going to have to figure something out. And my mom's actually at my house. And I remember calling her like, Mom, like I might have to move back in. I don't think I can afford to do life, at this point. I don't have enough money at the end of my month. So I just remember, of course, It Works failed me. It was assigned to me, and I was mad nervous, but I ran with it, and life started to happen. So you kind of have a dream board. You kind of have things that you may envision, and you're not sure how you're going to get there. And I call them downloads. That term was given to me by a close friend. So she's like, God gives you downloads, and you may not know how you're going to get there, or it may seem crazy when you see it, but understand any vision that God has given you is validated. And you may not be able to ask a friend about it, or even ask, someone that all your life about it, but it's something that you're called to do. So the first thing for us was debt. We felt very uncomfortable with debt, so that was something that we wanted to kind of tackle. And we paid up over $75,000 of debt so far. So, and counting, like we literally wake up, like our chest is heavy because we're not done. We know we're not done. So we have to work on that. And I had just started dating my then boyfriend, now husband, about a year before It Works. So we're like, okay, well, we want to get married, but we have debt and we have this, we have that. So long story short, I really grew up in this business. I went from single, technically by law, to married with a child. And now we are multipreneurs, so which means that we went from It Works being our first baby to now my husband has a full-time photography business and I am a boutique owner. So my life has grown a lot, and that's because God's plan for me was like, hey, like this is going to be the contributor. This is going to be the accelerator. The what's the word I'm looking for? Catalyst. It's going to be the catalyst for your life. So all the things that you're called to do, this is going to fund it. I've been able to give back more. I've been able to literally just serve my community more and just open my eyes up to the impact I can make. So just wanted to give you guys like quick glimpse into me, into my life. And we're going to talk about a little bit of what, again, the fake word balance looks like. So if anybody who's listening, because I know I'm the only person on Zoom, but anybody sitting there, y'all can give me some feedback. Like, what's something that either you struggled with because someone told you, like, oh, you're working too much, or is there something else in your life that you're having trouble finding time to like arrange all of this? Just give me some type of struggle, I guess, you're having when it comes to fitting everything into your life. Anybody? No? Everybody good? Well, if you think of something, you guys could always, jump in. But I want to say for me, the first thing was my relationship. So before I started running with Corey, he was like, what are you doing and why? So my relationship was the first thing I guess I came and had some struggle with. And he felt like I was spending too much time with this business and not enough time with him. It looked like, early mornings and late nights. And I don't know if you guys are at this retreat, you understand that. There are some crazy hours. There are some unpredictable seasons, and you're running because you have a vision. So it looked like that first step, which was the question I get all the time, how do you get your significant other to get on board with this? The answer for me is just money. You just got to figure out how to make the money. And if the dollar amount might vary. Again, most of y'all might already be there. I don't know the exact requirement for retreat, but y'all have seen something. So just understand, sometimes proof of concept is the business term for it, but them seeing that your hard work is going to pay off. And that may have different seasons, because it's going to be an extended period of time that you might be fighting for this because you are not done. What y'all done is amazing. And like Cammie said, you take your 24 hours and you like, rah, yes. And then you get back to it because God's not done with you and you're called to so many more people. But that was the first thing I guess I came up against. Leaving my job was the second. I felt that rift, that discomfort, because I'm like, God, I've been eating. I can put food in my fridge. I'm not sure if I can do It Works full time. And just literally allowing God to order your steps in every avenue. So real, like, simple advice when it comes to this. If God brings you to it, he has a step-by-step instruction. And it may look crazy or may not make any sense, but each time that I do something new or I encounter a new level of my business, I know what that looks like is, okay, well, God's going to tell me exactly what to do. Exactly what I can actually be still. I can afford to be still until I can get the next level of instruction. And that's really how I've been able to navigate it. And now that I am answering the new callings that God has given me, tapping into my creativity, and I'm birthing these businesses, it looks like really figuring out what you're good at when it comes to this business. Each of you have a unique gift. Y'all work together and you work beautifully, but each of you guys have something that you do really well. It might be social media for some of you guys, namely Facebook. Maybe it's Instagram for others. Maybe it's getting out there and meeting new people and blitzing. It may vary and it may change from season to season. I've had seasons where I've been, Instagram heavy, and seasons where Facebook pays all my bills, and it just varies. But figure out what you're good at and what brings you the most income or most results from. Because again, I had my daughter and I was like face first. I was exhausted and I couldn't be the same Patrice that this business asked me to be prior to, but I knew what my strengths were. I knew if I spent as much time as I could give, when I wasn't sleeping or, figuring out new momhood, that if I just did these 3 things on my 6 list, these are the top 3 things that are going to produce income. So I'm going to actually give you guys a tip from Ashley Mayfield that she gave us in our last Zoom. Hopefully I don't steal it from her, but she got some other bomb stuff, I'm sure. But she taught us to change our 6 list to a 5 list. And that is because you can grade yourself at the end of the day. So what TD Jake said in one of his interviews is never stuck at the same things 2 days in a row. So if you have your 6 list, if you know the top 6 things you need to do to build your business and you drop it down to 5 or increase it to 7 if you want to be bold, you can grade yourself and you can go through at night. This time of night for me is when I do it. All right, did I get number 1 done? Yes, I did. I won that. Did I get number 2 done? You know what? I forgot. Number 3, did it. Number 4, did it. Number 5, okay, I did forget that. I didn't get to that. And if I can do that, I can say, you know what? Well, the ratio says I won today. I won the day today. And I can track that every day, every week, every month. And if I'm not having the results I want from my business because I'm busy and I have a lot on my plate, that's cool. That never changes. And let me give you guys a hint. Every year, this business will call you to be or perform differently. You're not going to be able to do exactly what you did this year, next year. You're going to have to evolve as a person and evolve with the times. Social media changes, the rules change, all that stuff changes, but God's got you. But in order for you to hold yourself accountable to what you say you want, can you look back at your performance and say, okay, yeah, it's been a crazy month. This month, my daughter's birthday is this month. We're going to Jamaica this month, but I don't get to go broke because I got stuff going on. Let me make sure I'm winning the day. So that's kind of how I'm tracking now. I kind of changed that, and I love that. Because 6 lists, you can say, oh, well, I did half and I didn't do the other half. I don't know. No, I can give myself a very clear grading. So Jasmine, that's the piece I had for balance. Anything specific you wanted me to cover, or of course I can take questions or comments or anything you guys have, but I just wanted to encourage you guys, you don't get to choose your seasons. And if you are smart, you allow for God to kind of guide you through them. I didn't take on new responsibility because I wanted more money or because I just felt like it. It was very much of a get still and figure out what you're supposed to do this season. So whether it's having a new baby, we not just popping up pregnant because we want to make sure we can handle it financially and mentally. We're making sure that we're being responsible when we do launch new businesses and we do have other things on our plate, because being busy is never an excuse when this is our main source of income. So I'm not a fan of being a entrepreneur just to be doing it. I think you got to wait for God's timing for it and figure out when you're ready and when you've mastered this business. And that looks like, mastering to whatever degree that is, enrolling customers, distributors, and leadership. And that takes time. We didn't start that until after 5 years in. We'll be 6 years next month. So just like, yeah, sorry. So Jasmine, anything that you can think of specifically that you want me to cover or that I can answer?
I guess one of the girls have a question, but another thing that I think would probably be helpful is if you could share like your maybe what your typical day looks like.
Sure. So I can do that, and I can get the question next, right? Because I like those. Okay, so my typical day, it looks like for me on an ideal typical day, waking up pretty butt crack early. It looks like me waking up between 4 and 5 a.m. Why? Because I am a wife and a mom now, so I don't get that uninterrupted time as much. And, between, 9 and 9, there are typically, humans talking to me. I'm an introvert, so I gotta like give them my direct attention to several different places. It drains me. So between 4 and 5 a.m. is not ideal. I'd love to be sleeping, but I know I can be my own personal assistant between 4 and 5 a.m. and I can go back to sleep. I can go back to sleep. It can be for a half hour. But if I can answer some DMs, if I can listen to some personal development without any interruption, if I can, do my to-do list. My printer is super dope, and it lets me print out a list like this. You got to find your system. And for me, it's so basic, but it's just boxes where I can check off in a list. And this is where I brain dump. So my mornings before I start my day is a complete brain dump. I don't even think about what I'm writing down. It can be a dentist appointment. It can be post to post. It can be check on that customer. It can be change that customer's auto ship. But I literally just brain dump on paper, and out of that brain dump comes my 5 list. I can't do it all. I can't. I'm not going to pretend like I'm a superwoman. I can't get everything done all the time. But prioritize your list. Write it all out. Prioritize it. If you're having a phenomenal day, then go add stuff to your list. But don't just sit around and be like, I suck, man, because I didn't get it all done. Figure out what's most important. And that came from, I had to ask Corey about the book. But there was a book that we read that kind of gave us permission to give ourselves grace when it comes to your to-do list. So I start with that. So that's like, again, from 4 to 6 a.m., I'm kind of just doing get your list together, get your mind right, and do the tasks that during the day can be interrupted that you don't want to do, because I don't like to message. But guess what? I do like to pay my bills. So it's part of this business, and you have to do things you don't love. So that's what I do between then. When my daughter goes to school on Mondays and Tuesdays, I, of course, get up and get her to school. I come back, and at that point, I work best between 8 a.m. and 12 p.m. That's my prime time. Find your prime time. It might be different than your sisters, might be different than your friends, but you can't just say, oh, well, all entrepreneurs, stay up after midnight and work until 3 a.m. I would be poor if you told me I had to work between those hours. That's just not my rhythm. So find your rhythm and find ways to honor that. So if your rhythm is in the morning, it looks like maybe your weekends, you have to figure out, hey, mom, hey, sis, hey, somebody, can you watch my kids? Hey, hubby, go, go to the gym, go do something. I put Corey out, when I have to get stuff done. And I know I can't get things done when he's in the room. So you're going to have to hack your own life is what I'm trying to say. And it might look different than other people's. Hack your life and hack your habits. When you find out where you work well, don't question it. Just find ways to get in tune with it and to magnify that. At that point, I eat lunch, and between 12 and 3, so that time between like 4 and 5 a.m., I'm kind of putting out my feelers. My messaging goes out for the day. So I go through my like as a lead. I go through host to post. I'm kind of messaging people on Facebook and Instagram. I don't text people because I probably get fussed out, but they don't really check their phones at time in the morning. So throughout the morning, I can answer people back. And between 1 and 3, 1 and 5, I do my calls, my actual PDT PLC calls. That just seems to work well. People, even that work, they can take their lunch break and chat with me. I just like to do my PDT PLC stuff with my teams at work. and just get it out the way, because otherwise my evenings are really, 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 really busy. And then between the hours of, I want to say like 5 and 7 are kind of like family time. So I do eat dinner. I do make sure that, you know, my daughter is good, that kind of thing. And between 7 and 10 typically are like live videos, team parties, team chats, you know, that kind of thing. So just making sure I'm building my business basically. And at that point, I go to sleep somewhere around 10:30, 11. So I'm not up all night, but that's because, again, I wake up again between 4 and 5. So that's my rhythm. And, you know, my team be like, you were asleep when I messaged you at 11 p.m. Girl, yeah. You know, because that's just not my hour. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. Yes.
Just business. Like he asked me the other day.
So wait, I can't. I'm hoping someone's listening to you that can like re-give me your question. I didn't want to stop you because you was in the zone, but I can't hear you. So
that you answered the question. My husband was telling me the other day, like he feels like I'm all about business, and I'm just neglecting the home. You know, so I think you answered the question about, even though I wake up earlier, but I don't know how to stop. Like,
so it's almost like working out. You know, I'm the word grace is what like saves me. I give myself so much grace, just like a diet. I have to start getting my life together after we come back from Jamaica, because otherwise I'm gonna be like can't fit through the door framed if I keep eating like I'm eating. So I gotta fix my life, but I want to make sure that I know that this is a big change. So maybe it looks like you setting your alarm, and maybe all you do is like, you know, read a page of a devotional and go back to sleep. You may have to train yourself. It may not be this instant, like, yeah, you just do it. And if you're serious, maybe that works for you, but maybe you got to train yourself into it. You set the alarm, you wake up, you go pee, you go back to sleep. The next morning you wake up, you go pee, you brush your teeth, you take a shower, and you go back to sleep. Like, figure out ways to get yourself in. It's not good enough to just say, oh, I tried and didn't work. But like that hour for me, I do laundry sometimes during that hour. I can throw a load in and then go back to what I'm doing. The keto energy is bomb. FYI, if you're like, no, I really need to get up, I actually got to do this, that will kick in 10 minutes. So if you can get up, take keto energy, go take a shower, and you'll be good. By the time you get out the shower, you're ready to go. And you may stay up. Corey started waking up at 5 a.m. and he stays up. He actually does not go back to sleep. So I go back when I wake up around 4, but he'll actually stay up from 5 a.m. to noon, and he'll take a nap around noon. So we're just figuring out how can we change our body's rhythm to accommodate success.
That answered your question? Yes. She said thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, you guys?
Anything else?
Did you hear that, Patrice?
I can't. I see Miles and I'm just like.
Oh, they said you did really good. They said that you answered a lot of the questions that they had.
Good stuff. Well, I can leave you guys with one last thing. This business, with any business, you know, with us launching other businesses, they require, first of all, the same exact skills. So whereas my team is like, okay, all right, well, we're here and I joined It Works, but I have one girl who was like, you know, I want to be a sonogram tech. You know, I'm currently a paralegal, and how do I get from this job to a sonogram tech when my sonogram tech job certification requires me to be full time? I can't go to work and do the certification program. And for her, it required a vision board. Like y'all hear them and it's like, yeah. But do them with your families. You know, whatever you want your life to look like, help them buy into it. And understand the same skills from It Works are going to apply for any other business that you do. So say those two things. So in terms of us being successful in other avenues of our life, that's because we took what we learned here seriously. And yes, it can be like, oh, you know, I don't want, no, actually it's important. So learn how to do what we call the core 4. The first, which is networking and adding to your network every day. That's crucial. If you're having a bad day and you just can't get anything done and you're just like, blah, 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 add to your network. That's the most important thing you can do at any given time, being in network marketing. That's it. So adding new Facebook friends, adding new Instagram friends, that's key. I'll tell my team, if you can't do nothing else, do that and add something to your story and add a post to your wall and keep it moving. You know, we can have a better day tomorrow. Next is posting. So again, making sure that you're adding, and again, please not just scripts, making sure that you guys take time to be confident enough to create content. We create content. We're basically influencers. So y'all have heard that word get thrown around more. Don't throw up posts. Create content, things that people want to read that help them get to know you more. And you guys are pretty good at that. So that's a good area that you guys are pretty strong in. Messaging. So posting is not asking, making sure you take the time to reach out. And I use the analogy of a shoe store. So if you're in a shoe store and someone says, hey, can I help you with something? You're not offended and you don't want to cuss them out. You're just like, oh, yeah, I do want this in a size 8. So that's what you do when you like as a lead. You're just asking people, can I help you with something? And then following up. So checking back in, because people forget, you know, even me, I'm a potential customer for some girls who sell hair and do lashes and some other stuff. And if they check in with me, I know that they remembered me. I actually feel special to get a follow check back in message. But for someone who doesn't, maybe I'll remember, maybe I won't. So don't think that that process is bothersome. People are waiting on you. Those 4 skills are what has grown both of our businesses, you know, as we have grown at the photography in the boutique. So that's required. You have to get good at this if you have an entrepreneurial vision. So just know, guys, make no mistakes. The stuff you're learning is definitely beneficial.
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
How do you run your team? Like, how do you run your team?
Just in general. So I break it down. We just changed things a little bit too. So we have a newbie group where we're just adding newbies to, and we use the modules. So you guys kind of heard more about those last green carpet, and they're really helpful. It lets people go in and kind of track their own progress. So that's been really cool. Once they get going, they get added to our main team page, which again, I know you guys have one of those too. And we just go live. Me and Corey just run it. We learned that people do better when we just pop in and give them a random tip or just some inspiration. So we kind of do that. And then right now we're running a boot camp, a 12-week boot camp. So Jasmine, thanks for coming next week to pop into ours. And we are just giving people inspiration, daily tasks. If you want to know when I first started, because of course this is me running a larger team, but when I first started, how did I do it? It was more one-on-one. Like, this business doesn't thrive on people being thrown into a team environment. They really need that connection. So the more personal you can be, the better. Do they know you by name? Do you know them by name? Do you know their kids' names? Do you know what their goals are? Are you able to connect with them in that way? Are their goals your goals? And do they know that? So my success came in the beginning, not so much from the team thing, but like the connecting and digging deep and not wide, if that makes sense. I had to be wider now because, and I wish I could go back to the days where it was just me and like the newbies, because I get my energy from that. But yeah, the deeper you dig, and just know it's not a guarantee that they're going to stay. It's just, I'm doing my job. I can rest my head at night knowing I gave you my best, right? So that's what it looks like. And you keep doing it enough and you're like, oh, I have a team, kind of thing. But that's the best advice I can give is connect with the people who come in, connect with the newbies, connect with your existing team, and always know that your help wanted sign should always be in the window. And I use the analogy of McDonald's. Even though we should never eat there, if you happen to go in there, it's hardly ever the same staff 100%. Right? So like, I'll go to McDonald's when I go to the airport because I like hash browns, but I shouldn't eat them. But they're at the airport. So whenever I go and we're at the airport maybe once every 60 days, it's never the same staff in there. It's always different. And that's how your business looks. You'll have a different team every 90 days or so. You have some key players who are the exact same, and you have some people who will shift. And you have to be open to that. And it's nothing wrong with it. So yeah, just some insight with that.
That's so good. Patrice, what makes you loyal to It Works? What makes you believe in It Works? And what makes you unshakable when it comes to this company?
So I have three things that makes me unshakable. I was not smart enough to choose this company. This was given to me. Like this It Works was given to me by God. I didn't go into the network marketing database and shop comp plans and do all this stuff. Like, I had a very clear prayer that I wanted God to help me find my purpose. And I remember like laying face first on the couch about 6 months prior to It Works. And literally God had to, when you pray, God will shake everything up. Understand that, okay? So I prayed, and suddenly like my job was in jeopardy. So the real comfy job I had out of grad school, now I'm in jeopardy of losing my job because of the economy. I took a 10K pay cut to go from that job to state government, so now I can't pay my bills. And I went from super comfortable to now I'm beneath check to check. And I'm like, God, like, this is terrible. Like, I can't even afford Christmas gifts. Like, what's going on? And It Works was literally gifted to me at that point. He knew he had to humble me before I would say yes to something like this. And for that reason, this was, again, I wasn't smart enough. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know. This was where I'm supposed to be. Number two was I prayed on it. When everyone was like, oh, we're getting ready to leave, whatever. I'm like, well, I don't have peace in that. I prayed on it, and that's not for me. And that's the same thing with It Works. I prayed on It Works for 3 days straight before I joined. And I said, God, if I have peace with this, if I'm still excited about joining this 3 days later, then I'm in. And the same thing with this. I'm like, God, like, am I missing something? And he's like, no. I'm like, oh, well, okay, good enough for me. And that was it. But number three is the actual company, the actual culture. I've been part of corporate cultures that weren't even as Christian based, as family based, as caring, as authentic, as innovative, as just generally, like, just, it's amazing. It's my dream company. It is my dream company. They know us by name. They know us not just because we perform well, because they know our hearts. Like, they very clearly said, we wanted to get to know you better because we can see your heart. I said, well, gosh, this is where I'm supposed to be at, down to little things, like just watching them grow. I've been here for a long time. So watching them adjust, they've gone through some hiccups. It hasn't been perfect, but they have navigated through every challenge with grace. They've literally stayed on the cutting edge. They're willing to try, willing to fail. I judge that too. They're getting rid of essential oils. I am so hurt. However, they tried it. They saw it. It was popping. They were like, well, let's try it. Okay, well, it's not for us right now. That's why I'm here. So the heart of the CEO, the heart of his children, how many men do you know whose kids are willing to work for them? Like most people who, kids get older, like, I'm out. I hate you. I'm out. But his kids actually want to work for him and help him build this company. That's a big deal. So just little things like that I see in this our leadership, so genuinely willing to help. And how our comp plan is designed, it's genius. Mark was a network marketer, and Mark had been and seen everything, and he handcrafted this comp plan to be the best of everything he had seen. And I've seen it time and time again. It's literally designed to make sure you're protected. It's designed to make sure that you profit. It's designed to make sure that you always have an incentive to move forward. It's just genius. So I could go on for days, but the most important reason is I prayed for this, and I prayed on this, and this is where I'm supposed to be. And you can make money doing anything. I told my team straight up, I said, if I ever leave It Works, I'm just going to be a stripper. I'm not going to another network marketing company. I'm not doing anything else. That's what I'm going to do. So if y'all are looking for me, that's the only option. But, because you can make money doing anything, but where are you growing? Who is serving you? Who can you serve in the process? And more importantly, is this what you prayed for or not? And this is what I prayed for. So that's why I'm loyal.
You are amazing. Yes, you are amazing.
Thank you guys. You guys are too. And I'm really, really excited because this season, and I told Jasmine this, that we're coming up. I literally wake up with this weird expectancy. That this is going to be the biggest season that we've ever seen. And I just, again, celebrate because you guys did amazing, but like God needs you guys in the field. Like this is a Ruth season, okay? Be out there grabbing your grains, doing what you got to do. It might look like a grind, but literally you don't know who's watching you. You don't know who's watching you. So be Ruth in this season.
Awesome. Anything else, y'all? I know it's late over there, Patrice.
It's 9:30, girl. Again, I don't go to sleep till 10:30. Y'all are good until 10. At 10, I start talking jibber jabber, and then by 10:30, I should be asleep. So y'all are good.
Any other questions? Organization. Oh, do you have any organization tips other than scheduling out your day and your priority list?
I do. So where's my book? I don't know if it's on my desk right now, but one of the things that I do is I actually track so I build my hundreds list. That's the whole thing. The biggest thing I have to organize is my hundreds list. Who's where, who's what. And what I personally do is I have a page in my binder for every product I market. I don't market every single product, right? I market packages and I market products. So I have a page for hair, skin, nails. I have a page for the coffee. I have a page for the cleanse for sure. I have a page for the trio. I have a page for the quad, etc. And as I post in my stories, as I post on my page and I get my likes, that goes on the different pages of the product. So, because I have a bad memory, and there are some sheets that you can use to track where like you write their name and their phone number and their email and then what they wanted to order. I ain't that organized, y'all. That ain't me. And that's okay. Again, I'm working in my strengths this season. So instead of me being like, oh girl, you gotta when I have a PDT, if I have 15 minutes to update my list, I just want to go to the page in my book where people who are interested in coffee live. So when I go back to Facebook and message them, I can say, hey girl, I know you were interested in coffee. Bam, done. Now Connect is going to make your life so much easier. You don't have to think about it as much because they're going to be preloaded into a system that you can click on and it's just all cute and all organized. But that's my favorite tip. Find again your system. So for me, it looks like this. This is so simple, but it works for me. I've bought, about $200 in agendas and planners, and they don't work for me because it's just not my thing right now. So just honoring what you need to get yourself through your day. And in terms of organizing my team, there is a checklist I can send to Jasmine. I really wish my binder was in here, but I typically work in the other room. But there is a new DT checklist that I use so I can literally check and say, did I add them to our team page? Yes. Did I send them the welcome videos? Yes. Did I check in with them week 1? Yes. Week 2? Yes. Week 3? Yes. Week 4? Yes. They get faster qualified? Yes. Their product credit? Yes. And that way I can literally I have to do simple stuff. I'm not super cute with the different color pens. And no, I'm a hot mess. So hot mess system looks like, what's the basic way I can get the job done? And that checklist is super helpful. So I can send that to y'all.
Go ahead.
Wasn't like a specific question, but can you hear me?
A little bit. I can work with it.
A couple of the girls and myself too, like what does your duplication look like? Like how are you able to present something to your team that they can in return duplicate?
This was a tough one to learn. I think we've gotten better with it as a company as time has gone on. But again, I mentioned each of you guys have different gifts. And what that looked like for me was I was great at Instagram, but my whole team wasn't. And I wasn't sure how to teach that. So rule number 1 is not what works, it's what duplicates. So understanding you might do something really well, but you have to understand that whatever you teach has to be something that your team can run with. The thing about Jasmine is that she has amazing systems. And just with my team, like We had to say, you know what, we could do a lot of different stuff, but this works. This works. And the easiest thing to do is to keep it simple and not switch things up all the time where you got to reteach your team and reteach your newbies. What we personally do is a flow chart. So when they first get started, we have them write their list, like their hundreds list, basically 20s list. And I had them do that by asking them simple questions. So people are not going to know what to do when you say write a list. They're like, oh, okay. But I ask them, I say, well, who's the last 10 people you text messaged? And then I have them answer that, go through their phone. I'll say, who would you invite to be a bridesmaid, or who did you invite to be a bridesmaid in your wedding? They'll write that list. I'll say, if you were selling dirt, who would buy dirt from you because they love you? They write that list down, and I basically help walk them through what it looks like. So that's like goes to the side. That's their party invite list. I had them first throw up the same cleanse host a post or coffee host a post. I have my PLCs do, or the referral things do, whatever you want to call those folks. I have my new distributors post that and see what responses they get from that. And we let them know, hey, your network or your market may respond to different things. Let's try cleanse, let's try coffee, let's try hair, skin, nails, and see which one they like the most. So their first 3 posts are scripts, and they are basically tagging me. So my friend Patrice is interested in someone who wants to lose 2 to 10 pounds, blah, 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 blah. And that way I can help them. I can actually still help them with the host of post. So I'm messaging their people with them on 3-way, basically like me, a little group, whatever. And I can help walk them through and let them see how easy it is to respond to those messages. They're basically shadowing me for their first post. And after that, they have the confidence to kind of host the post on their own. So a lot of our systems right now still look like host the post for customers. And we have a weekly team party where they can learn more about the opportunity and kind of get information from there. But that's how we duplicate from the very beginning. But I just recommend just whatever you do, keep it simple, because the more complicated it is, the more people will say, well, not right now, I'll do it later. They'll procrastinate because they just don't get it. So
you keep, so with the host of post with your newbie team, when you start messaging those potentials on the host of post, you add them to that chat so that they can.
Yeah, I want them to see how easy it is. Some people are more self-started, like, girl, I got it. Oh, good, yay. But some people are just, they can give them the script, you can give them the instruction, they just kind of freeze up. And in this case, it's good. They watch me and they're like, oh, that was easy. You signed her up? Wow, she's interested? Get out of here. And it just kind of builds their confidence.
How long do you hold their hand?
Huh?
How long do you hold their hand?
I hold their hand for the first week. So first week I hold their hand. And this may vary based off of your own personal network and your own personal preference. You may be like, look here. But for the first week, I want to give them the best of me, the best, shadowing, the best information, et cetera, attention. But I know next week I have to start to wean them off. So next week it's like, hey, you can screenshot me next week. Or you might start with screenshots from day one. Everyone's different, but this is just what I'm currently doing. So the second week is, okay, well, you got this. You saw me do it. I know you got this. This week, screenshot me if you get stuck. And the week after that, we're starting to go to DTs. All right, well, their party should be in their first 10 days. So everyone they talk to that I help them talk to gets invited to the party. Everyone on their hundreds list gets invited to their party. And we're having a launch party within their last 10 days, preferably in person, hopefully online. Hopefully in person, online if we have to, but just making sure that launch process looks like those host to post in a party as soon as possible. But yeah, it just depends on you guys. No system is superior. It's all about what works. And if you ever feel like something isn't working or you have questions and talk with Jasmine and be like, all right, look, this is what I'm experiencing, troubleshoot. But where my income decreased in my career was the seasons that I asked too many questions, in the sense of I was trying to figure out what everyone was doing because someone had to have a secret. and I went chasing after all kinds of stuff that wasn't me. So I give advice because you guys asked, but just know, trust your gut and trust what you're doing. And if it got you here, it'll get you there. It'll get you to ambassador. basically. And I went off my own beaten path chasing stuff, and I would have like been an ambassador because I would have just done the same thing over and over again. So just my 2 cents. You are so very welcome, guys. I hope you enjoy the rest of your retreat. It looks gorgeous once again. And I'm just so excited for you guys. Like, you are so needed. There are faces that look like ours who need us, that literally, like, we have the gifts. We have the tools. So just know, like, your lives will be so much different when you look back on this date this time next year. And I can't wait to celebrate you guys at that point. So
Thank you, Patrice.
you're so welcome.
All righty. Well, I hold on. Let me turn this off. Hold on 1 second.